Welcome to Numb Bills Fan Podcast, episode number 219. I'm your host tonight, David Palermo, and as always, follow along on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Instagram number 1, Twitter, and then Facebook in that order. That's how active I am there. And we have some breaking news. Uh-oh. You hear that? Probably not, because it sucks. But that's our breaking news entrance music here, because Antonio Brown is allegedly getting traded to the Bills, and I put a question mark because I'm the only loser up at 344 podcasting about this right now to tell you that it's probably not happening. And is it a good idea? Wow. All right. So I don't know if life got easier for me tonight or not. It's 3:44. My little breaking news segment there of a guitar in the background that I was too lazy to run a longer mic cord to the thing. That took a lot of production work right there. I'm not even kidding. Before I started laying down that stupid ass like little whatever that turned into, I got bored of it and had to do something else. When the ADD sets in between self-loathing and, I'm like, all right, well, let's do something funny. And by the time I get done with the funny, as I'm texting Scott Campbell, the dude I sit next to, he's texting me. He just texted me confirming stuff he saw too, that John Worrell, I just saw a tweet saying that the Antonio Brown thing isn't happening from a second source of his, I believe. So I could be misreporting that, but I'm probably not, because why would I do that? Well, point is by the time I get done with this dumbass, stupid, funny thing that's not even that funny at this point, really, the news changed. Like, what the hell? Like, it's amazing, just whatever. Yeah, so John Worrell, a second person with direct knowledge of talks, tells the AP that a trade between the Bills and the Steelers for Antonio Brown is not in the works. Yeah, so if that's from John Worrell, I trust John Worrell, and I like it because he likes a good old rock and roll. So I've lightened up on laying into these sports reporters, because after trying to report on the Bills myself, and be honest, it's been a little bit of a rough road here, because I'm not so happy lately with the Bills, as you could tell. But, I just like championships, consistent playoff berths at all costs. That's all. So if that's the case, the Bills are in the running for Antonio Brown, which I think is just, it's the 10-year anniversary of the Bills trading for Terrell Owens today. Sal Capaccio, now on WGR 550, broke the news of that 10 years ago. And I've been a fan of Sales for a long time, since he had a podcast years ago. And it was cool, but I would keep refreshing my feed, and he wouldn't have anything. But he would have like a show exact opposite of this one. So if you don't know by now, I don't want to say this show was satire, but this show was definitely sarcasm and more of an honest opinion. And I want to say it's comedy, but I don't intend it to be. This is just, raw thoughts. We can call it the Raw Thoughts Bills podcast from now on. Raw thoughts, all right? Not raw dog like my dog Nick O'Leary that the Bills had a fucking cut, Raw dog, no gloves, Nick O'Leary catching passes in Florida. His hands are going to be so sweaty. I don't even know how the hell he catches the ball down there. Fucking guy. So, I don't know what the hell Rand went on about. But, yeah, 10-year anniversary. Sale had a cool show. Overproduced in my ears, because when you start a little thing, I don't know. If you start producing things, you got to do a nice job with it. And he did, So, a lot of effort. And for me, I just want to have more podcasts, and it seems like on the Bills, and Sale was always the one. This is before John Murphy had a show. And I would just sit there listening to national radio trying to get some kind of Bills take, which was like impossible. Like Bills Mafia, you people are spoiled right now. Like dead nuts spoiled. And everybody talking about, you know, the Bills being in salary cap hell and Doug Whaley's an idiot. And it's like, no, there's, it's how do you want to spin it? If you're the Bills. Were they in salary cap hell? What? The Bills in salary cap hell? Name me another time the Bills were ever in, like, salary cap hell. Like, please, name me another time. Like, when were the Bills? Wow, dude, they're really, like, in salary cap hell with these contracts. Like, I always wanted the Bills to have a problem with, like, having too many good players, but as always, the players get blamed when the coaches suck. I'm here beating the drum that Rex Ryan is doing some cutting edge shit, and maybe he was, but he didn't get enough time. And honestly, his defense was not good in the numbers department. So like, I can't torch Sean McDermott when his defense was awesome, at least on what he does. So it's like, I loved me some Rex Ryan. I thought he was hilarious. And I like Rex Ryan because he's the guy that would bring players to Buffalo. That's the whole thing, is it's a marketing move too. Like, oh, dude, I was stoked. I fucking hated Rex Ryan when he was on the Jets. But on the Bills, come on now! Let's go. Like, let's bring it on. So I'm all stoked on Rex. Deacon seemed to be stoked on Rex. No, actually, I don't think he was at first. I might have roped him in. I went and bought a fucking Bills tracksuit and started a podcast, okay? And here we are today, 218 in. No, wait, is this 218 or 219? I don't even remember. I better rewind and go check. Yes, I'm good. All right, so, the Bills brought in Percy Harvin. I was stoked on it. The Bills brought in on a transition tag, not a free agent signing, juniors in the media, okay? It wasn't a free agent signing. Charles Clay was not a free agent signing. Okay, that was a transition tag. What that means is you got to pay a lot of money to make an offer where Miami's just not going to match it. And that's what they did to get Charles Clay. And in theory, it was a really good move. But I can't shit on Charles Clay because I believe he led the team in receptions maybe 2 years in a row. At least 1 year. So when people want to throw out a stupid, like, loose, half-assed, no contact statement, like, man, Charles Clay was just a fucking bum. Oh, cool. You looked at his receptions? Great. Bad take, dude. Bad take. Okay, because it starts with the offense digressed for 2 years after Rex bounced, after Anthony Lynn, who was runner-up to Coach of the Year, was running the offense for the Bills after Greg Roman got fired, which, by the way, Greg Roman is, the run game coordinator or some crap on the Ravens doing awesome shit. So the Bills know how to they knew how to do some stuff. Aaron Cromer, Bills former offensive line coach, is with the LA Rams. Todd Gurley looks good. Goff looks good when he shows up for 2 years, So, and Danny Crossman, Bills special teams coach, was retained and not that offensive line coach. You had the number one rushing offense. My point is in a weird way, is like Rex built some I kind of looked at like the Bills got dogged because of Rex because he had so many coaches on staff. I looked at it like, if you have everybody fucks differently, the best advice is like my father's ever given me is everybody fucks differently. And if you know my dad, you're probably laughing, but he'll like look at you and he'll just like with a straight face and just, hey, and just kind of, just bob your head. One head bob, two head bob. A little kind of like I'd say like a 10 o'clock to a 4 o'clock kind of head bob. Like, yeah, man, just everybody fucks differently. And then add in like the left shoulder shrug and throw a hand out there. Yeah, he's Italian. Can you tell? So it's like, I kind of wanted to see like what Rex was trying to build because I wonder. I found the dude fascinating. I got into the audiobook to his book. He was a part of Peaky Crossers, Shallow Crossers, whatever thing. Blinders. I don't remember the name of it. It's 3:53 a.m. Okay. I woke up from a nap and put on my other half of my tracksuit and came out here, and it's got tigers imprinted on it because that's how we roll, and gold stripes. So, I kind of thought like, all right, well, the offensive line. If you notice, there's a lot of times an offensive line assistant coach, too. Which is how we have the guy now, because I believe he was for the Bills, he was the assistant coach for Chan Gailey, I believe, on the offensive line. With I believe it was Joe D'Alessandro was the coach of the O-line back then. And I loved, I love me Chan Gailey football because his offense was still cut through the league. Now, he already did with the Jets recently. So my point is why not have a bunch of other coaches to do things? He got ripped. Rex got ripped for bringing in Rob Ryan. I'm like, whatever, dude. Can he coach linebackers? And guess what? The linebackers played pretty good. So like, I thought, Zach Brown wasn't as good by the end of the season, but I thought Preston Brown was solid. Things were okay. They weren't awful. So it's like, I don't know, that he had so many coaches and the defense fell apart, and I didn't get it, But I got to know the Bills coaching staff behind the scenes from that book, and I didn't finish it, but I got about like at least 3/4, I believe. And it was a really cool story how they followed the Jets, I think, second championship season. So it's like, Rex Ryan had a pedigree of being cutting edge. He's got the bloodlines. He's got the whatever the hell, He confused Brady. He does some cool things. Peyton Manning watches tape. Good. We'll put out some dummy tape for him to study. We'll do some stupid shit. I like that. And I also love that he was just raw, clearly. I'm in it for the funny. I'm not in it for Jesus. If I want Jesus, I'll go do something else. I'm in it for fucking fun and fun only. So, Rex Ryan, yeah, he might have been a quote-unquote circus or a quote-unquote carnival, but, you got to keep in mind, ESPN, that's their deal, and Rex Ryan is good at taking the heat off the players. At the same time, like, he didn't execute, and you got to mix it up. I couldn't really blame the Bills for firing him, but I was like, I guess, yeah, I don't know. Whatever happened, because the Pagulas, I got to give them credit. They give the guys the resources, I thought Doug Whaley did a fine job in the front office of marrying talent to scheme. And that's number one. If you can't marry the talent to the scheme and you don't have a good relationship with your coach and GM for that, you're fucked. At the same time, allegedly Whaley was hard to work with. I don't know the insides. I'm not there yet. Maybe I won't ever get there. I can find that out. But it's just kind of weird that Bean and McDermott, they do good in the draft defensively, but they just don't offensively. They move lethargic. So with Rex Ryan, you got this Antonio Brown situation. I'm thinking like, oh, shoot, he might want to come play for a guy like Rex. You know what I mean? But if you're in the know on football, and what I mean by that is I don't know anything. Okay, but what I will tell you is I'm not just going to root. I'll root for the team because it's our team. But I'm not just going to go, oh, yeah, this coach has got it. I trust him because I don't think McDermott came from a goddamn dynasty. But his defenses have been good. And honestly, I ripped the Star Lotulelei signing because they waited to release the money for a minute, it felt like. And they cut Darius because, oh, he's so expensive and he smokes weed or something. Like, okay, well, I brought my bag of weed out before I fired this bitch up, and I'm ready to go. So it's like, oh, guys are lazy, they're missing meetings. Yeah, that's not cool. But, like, when you're like a top recruit, and you're like the number 3 pick in the draft, and I would say, like, probably 1 out of 7 fucking jerseys is a Darius jersey, and then the other ones are Watkins as well. So another 1 out of 7 there, too. You got a lot of fucking balls trading and cutting those guys. And there was a lot of balls for Brandon Beane and McDermott to do. And they signed Star Lotulelei, and he's a lot of fucking money for what he does. And I get ripped that, oh, you don't understand the position. It's not about the position. It's about the money. It's about, can he stop the run and can he get sacks? Oh, he keeps the linebackers clean. Dude, the linebackers are always productive in Buffalo. Unless you go back to Puz Leslie, which his numbers were productive. But, like, I want tackles for loss. I want, like, anyways. So that was also before, like, Darius. So, just saying, would Antonio Brown be cool? Yeah. But he's going to be a lot of fucking money. And he's going to be draft picks. And if you remember what they had to do for LaShawn McCoy was not only do you trade Kiko Alonso, which is fine, perfectly fine. Anybody who fucking bat an eye at that, stop it. Just stop it. They trade him. Great move. Yeah, it should only take 20 minutes on your boat ride with the Pagulas, Rex and Whaley and whoever you guys are on a boat with. Yeah, it should be, or wherever your resort in Florida. I don't know. Okay, they're allegedly chilling, and then within 20 minutes they made a decision to trade for McCoy. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Should have been 20 seconds. You end the call. Yeah, we traded with McCoy, huh? Yeah, we got McCoy for Puz Leslie. Who's that? Or not Puz Leslie. Freaking Kiko Alonso. Yeah, who's that? The guy who blew his ACL? Oh, yeah, okay, sure. That second round impactful linebacker that we didn't have to trade 3 picks for to get Tremaine Edmonds. Remember that? I'm arguing with people on Twitter all the time. Like, yo, we don't need to give up 3 picks for Tremaine Edmonds. Like, yo, I like him. I'm glad he's on the Bills, but I want to use those other 2 picks on immediate day 1 starters and go back to the playoffs. That's kind of what I thought. But I'm over the 2018 season. We're on a new page. Watch some damn draft highlights. Not even draft highlights, but highlights of players, I should say. The hell, again, it's late. It's now 4 a.m. So I like Rex because we could get these free agents that want to come here and ball. I don't know if AB got traded here if he'd want to come here and ball. You know what I mean? If I was him, it's going to be 31 July. I would sit out the fucking year. I would sit out the year. He's already 31. Am I saying the Bills can't use AB? No, I'm not. Of course you can. But if you're telling me that the number 1 targeted position, I believe, for young quarterbacks should be the tight end, if you're looking at Travis Kelce, you're looking at the kid on the Eagles, Ertz there, you're looking at fucking Greg Olsen over the years. I mean, Carolina guy, Carolina model. What we do in Carolina. Okay, cool. The Bills, Adam Deacon brought this up. He called it first. He goes, I want to be shocked the Bills draft a tight end. He thinks the Bills should draft a tight end. First round. I don't want to mistake it if he listens to this, but I'll confirm with him. But he was floating that theory out, and I was kind of like, sleeping on it kind of makes sense. Now, there's this dude out of Alabama that I like, okay? And his name is Irv Smith Jr., and his father was a first-round pick for the Saints in 93. So what I'm getting at here is I'm down because if you think about it, for you people with Brandon Bean, that, Doug Whaley had salary cap. Oh, okay, cool. Tight end is a very cheap position to pay over the years as a first-round pick, but at the same time, you use that first-round pick to get the expensive motherfucker like a goddamn defensive tackle. And believe me, McDermott's not going to be able to help himself, okay? That said, the Bills are talking defensive tackle and wide receiver a lot. When they start talking about that a lot, I'm not saying you talk about tight end all the time. But, my conspiracy theory on this draft is they're talking tight end and wide receiver and defensive tackle a lot, all right? I think the DN spot's fine. They got Yarborough for a little bit longer. They have Shaq Lawson, who is in his prove-it year. If I believe they're going to pick up his option, if I'm not mistaken, right? So they go on with that. And Jerry Hughes, don't fucking sleep on Jerry Hughes. I don't want to hear about age when it comes to the defensive line. I don't want to hear about age in football in general. Dead serious. If you can play to the system, you're going to be fine. All right, look at Lorenzo Alexander. Yeah, does he not have much wear and tear because of special teams? Sure. But, I don't want the Bills to blow their wad here on Antonio Brown. I really don't think it's going to happen. I know my take is not a fucking popular opinion. It's just not a good value. Like, the Bills literally got 2 players out of 6 picks last year in the draft. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and traded a starting caliber left tackle. And your left tackle had a promising year, and Deion Dawkins could have moved it to the right. That's what I was kind of thinking. And maybe used a pick or 2 on some off your linebacker there to get some offensive linemen, or trade for offensive linemen, or comb through depth charts, or figure something out. Go, okay, this guy ain't working, shuffle this center out. But hey, the Bills on the up and up. You heard it here first. Last year was the worst year I think we're going to have with the Bills since a long time. And don't forget, playoff year, fans, was like statistically like the worst in 5 years that year. So like the 2 years of Rex and the 2 years of Doug Marrone were better statistically than the playoff year. So I don't like stats. They're for losers. All right. But the Bills made the moves I wanted them to make after the 2017 season, after the 2018 season, which was move on from your fucking offensive line coach and your quarterback's coach. That's it. I didn't want Josh Allen because he's the rawest. I want Josh Allen because he's here. For one, is he played. I got to see it. And I got to see him survive the abomination of what the front office left him. So it's never that I don't like Josh Allen. Make that clear here. It's always been he's not set up here. And that's kind of my point with Antonio Brown is the Bills have a lot of work to do on that offensive line. The Bills have a lot of work to do with cohesion. Time is fucking limited. They don't have much time before they go to camp. And then when you go to camp and you actually break down and you watch it and you actually break down how much time they actually spend, yeah, it's a lot of time, but it ain't like that much time. And then you're coming from college, so you're a young guy, okay? And the game speed changes when you get to practice because you're with NFL guys. But then your game speed changes when you get to preseason. And then it really changes when you get to the regular season. And then in games 10 and 11, your rookies are getting tired because they're hitting their rookie wall. So my whole deal was, if you got Antonio Brown, you get that figured out. You're going to get that figured out year one. Yeah, if you're Swift. If Doug Whaley was the GM, no joke. If Doug Whaley was the general manager with Jim Manos and the pro personnel department, I think, who came from the Saints, okay? Doug Whaley came from the Steelers. Don't tell me. I did not forget the marketing of these people. Let's just put it that way, okay? When one Bills drives brings them in. When the Bills bring these guys, I love them, okay? And I'm going to love McD when they fire him. That's how it always fucking goes, okay? But McD's got to earn my love, man. Bean's got to earn my love. These young cats got to earn my love. Because Bean or McD at first reminds me of what Shope from Shope and Bulldog says of like a young Parcells. But now, the trend is young coaches. What do the Bills do? They hire young fucking coaches, of course, late to the party. So it's like just like $100 million contracts. Like Darius was like one of the last for that position, I believe. Well, I mean, you got Aaron Donald, but he's one of the few. So what I'm getting at is, okay, so you get through next year and you have a mediocre year. Cool. Antonio Brown is 32 years old going into the next fucking season. How do you think his morale is? He doesn't see the playoffs. Okay? Somehow the fucking team just does the Bills heartbreaking shit. That in normal football ain't that bad. When you're like a normal team It ain't that bad. But when you're the Bills and you're in the division with the Patriots, add 2 losses on there. I'd even add 2 more losses in the division because the Bills always find a way to split. Are you sure with the Dolphins and the Jets? Are you sure AB wants to come to fucking Buffalo? No, you're gonna have to pay him a boatload of cash, and you're gonna give away a goddamn fucking pick, and he's already getting a boatload of cash. And the jokes on Josh Allen being too inaccurate, worst fucking take ever. Coming from a guy who looked at Josh Allen's stats, because I'm a loser, from college and seeing how inaccurate he is, and then realizing that Baker Mayfield, as much of a fan I am, the hearsay in passing is that it's 10 screen passes of a difference of accuracy between Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen. And Josh Allen, he passes the eye test. And the reason I don't give him the time of day in college is you're in fucking college. It's hard watching these highlight reels, man. It's fucking hard. These guys are wide open. These guys are wide open. Wide open. Alabama tight end here that I like. Irv Smith Jr. ran a 4.6 something, I believe, at the combine. I thought initially on tape he looked fucking slow running. I thought he looked fucking slow. I'm like, let me type in his combine highlight. Oh, shit. Under 5? Okay. I'm into it. To me, you got to have all the pieces. I know I'm kind of all over the place. But I don't know if I'm AB if I want to come here. I really don't. And it's not a popular take to the fans. You guys are probably fucking losing your mind. Dude, it's not about that. No, you're right. It's about selling fucking tickets. It's about getting me to drive my ass back to the stadium. And fucking guess what? You could get me the kid out of Alabama at tight end or Antonio Brown to pair up with Josh Allen. Who the fuck you think is going to drive to the stadium quicker? Everyone for Antonio Brown. I get it. I want it too. I want the shiny toys. But to me, this podcast has always been about the chess game here. It's always been about let's let these people build. I'm not just going to not tear it down. You can't tell me continuity. Well, why are we moving on from Chan Gailey? Why are we moving on from Doug Marrone? Oh, wait, he left. Why are we moving? Oh, you're preaching continuity again with Rex Ryan. Why are we moving on? No, you just, when you like what's going on, you just start a new process. Oh, okay. That's cool. But, I don't know. Everybody knows my take on our front office. And the head coach waiting till 2019 to fire the offensive line coach, the quarterbacks coach, and wanted to fire it after the 2017 season. I already went over this 3 times. But it's don't buy into blind faith. Holy shit. Holy shit. I feel like I'm like a salesman here. Hey, buy into logic. Buy into logic. And it's dude, I've honestly lost a lot of fire talking about the Bills because, especially online, because I can't get past a tier. I can't get past you're just a hater. I don't know. I don't think. I think Imus is worth 3 picks. Okay, good for you. I don't. I'm not going to sit here and give you my take. I'm not going to go again. List off so many productive 2nd and 3rd round fucking draft picks for the Bills that were day 1 immediate starters. John Miller, 3rd round pick, right guard, promising first 2 years. Fired the offensive line coach, goes downhill. Hired the guy Juan Castillo, who drove the fucking Ravens run game into the ground for 4 years. Okay, Pryor. Let's hire that guy. He's an Andy Reid guy. Oh, okay. Cool. Or you're going to have Chan Gailey's staff, or you have former fucking guys on the Bills. You have a plethora of guys that have Super Bowl rings, coaching the team. Here and there, you got but it doesn't matter. Can your team play together? Can you guys put in the work? And that's my favorite part about McDermott is he's a wrestling background guy. And Antonio Brown, 6th round pick. I know he'll do the work. I'm not worried about that. I'm sure he would be a pro. He's had humble beginnings. He'll be a star in Buffalo. He'll be loved here, dude. I would love Antonio Brown. But to mortgage the Bills' future on it, I don't know. But this is also why I suffered through the 2018 season, is to make a move like this. I mean, I don't give a fuck about the money. You've been touting this third and cap space money thing, and I've been touting this. I'd rather have the fucking talent on the roster and compete for the playoffs when all these teams are 7-6 in the middle of the season, and the Bills could have squeezed in there if they just had a better quarterback than Nathan Peterman as a backup, for God's sake. You know? Don't even see. I can't even. Oh, I have such PTSD on this issue. It's. Don't tell me process logic when it's not process. When the logic isn't processing to me. Okay, like sorry, not everything's logical, but this Antonio Brown thing, you can warm me up to it. I'm gonna start fantasizing about it. I can't wait for the next man to drop when he's on the Bills. I'll tell you that. It'll be a fun year. Which, by the way, Josh Allen and Madden's pretty fun. Pretty fun. But it's like, again, blind faith. We gotta be all because the team cuts somebody doesn't mean, oh well, they're not gonna. No. If you have a family, you're not all gonna agree on the one thing. Imagine being somewhere where the front office is and you got probably like 5 people who are like, I don't want to do this, and then 6 people are like, I want to do this, and then, well, I don't know. It's just how sports goes, man. So I don't know if is AB a fit. I'm not sure. Why do I say that? Because of the offensive line, frankly. Give me a team like the Patriots. Yeah, of course AB fits. Duh. AB will fit anywhere. But, like, imagine somebody signing with, like, the Jaguars. You'd be like, oh, who gonna fucking do that? Well, that's what the Bills are. That's what the Bills are. Okay, get your ass on Twitter. And then this national media reports, they can't even believe that the Bills could be in the running for Antonio fucking Brown. And it's like, again, when I'm scrolling for podcasts 10 years ago or something on the Bills other than national media and shit, and I didn't know how to get WGR. We couldn't. I don't think they were even streaming on their website at the time on WGR. But it's like, I don't like the Bills jokes from national media. I think it's lazy. I didn't like the Bills stuff from Jerry Sullivan, John Worrow, these other guys, honestly. I didn't. But after trying to, quote-unquote, cover the Bills and talk about the Bills at least once a week average for a few years now, it's been really tough. Because I'll try to have people on who are objective, who, I'm definitely more negative this year, but I'm not trying to be lazy with my takes. I'm trying to be passionate. I'm trying to be honest. So, we look to sports to free our mind up. The more I learn about life, the more I realize, marketing is a thing, money is a thing. The NFL is run by billionaires. Odds are a lot of them have done shady shit to get the money. It's kind of subpar conversations, but I look to the NFL for fun. I have to take the blind eye to certain things like military flyovers on my fucking tax dollars. Yeah, that pisses me off a lot. I don't care about your stupid plane. But you know how many fucking events have to go down to coordinate that flyover? Oh, flyover! Oh, I want to go sign up and go die. Yeah, cool. I'm not down for banker wars. I'm not down for losing loved ones. I have friends in the military, and I love them. So, it's hard for me, so this Antonio Brown stuff, it kind of like drove me to be like, yeah, let's go, and that's what I like. can talk me into this AB thing. I want to keep it positive. I want to keep it happy. And I want to talk the truth about the damn fucking Bills. And truth is, they need an offensive line. They're not set up. I think the tight end there, Tom McShay thinks that the tight end I like out of Alabama is going to go. The reason I like him is he's a good route runner. Okay. Also, the Alabama connection there with, Brian Dable, Bills offensive coordinator, Alabama guy. We know him, Alabama guy. And McDermott and Bean have pulled no punches about bringing in everybody they want. They have made this like a Carolina North for real. From coaching staff to front office to players. So I'm going to deal with it because they're working. The defense was like number 2 or some shit. Like, okay, I guess, but it doesn't matter. To me, it was about developing the quarterback. And I feel like the Bills wasted a year. I'd rather see you get your linebacker this year, frankly, and use those picks for other stuff. So 2019, new year. Really stoked. And lastly, I'll leave you with this. Here's how the Bills fix it. Here's how you get yourself set up for an Antonio Brown situation, which I don't think he's coming. Again, John Worrell, like I said, record some stupid-ass guitar intro for you. Give you a little giggle. And next thing you know, the news is that's recording my bad track here in the background. My little breaking news segment. The deal's not happening. But I think the Bills need to open up their fucking bank account. They need to get Matt Paradis, okay? If you don't know who Matt Paradis is, he is a center from Boise State. 6th-round pick out of the NFL draft in 2014. And he is 29 years old, will be 30, because it's a magic number, 30 years old. 30. I don't give a fuck, dude. Are you healthy? Do you work out? Do you watch your health? What is your nutrition is number 1? Do you think Lorenzo Alexander sticks around because he's just like, no. That dude, nutrition is number 1. Body is temple. If you're a professional athlete and you don't get that, you're a fucking idiot. And it's like, I love Josh Allen, but Josh, dog, you're fucking killing me with the Chick-fil-A coming from a guy who hit McDonald's drive-thru 3 times today. Like, I know. Time is money, though. Got to bring my lunch. You're right. So, next. Okay. I think Matt Paradis is he's a guy that Kevin Massari made me aware of as a free agent. And I think the Bills start with the centerpiece. You had to start with the center. They got the long kid from the Jets who played center. He didn't rate well, but he had a broken finger snapping the ball. I'll give him a pass. But he played really good. I did some research on him. And at first I was like, man, what the fuck is this injury signing? And then Adam Deacon had to make me aware. He's like, come on, man. You and I have always been against the injury thing. What are you talking about? Give the guy a shot. You can't knock it because of injuries. And I realized I just had my haterade on for Brandon Beane. I just had my haterade on. I was like, that's a good signing. Because he was a big free agent acquisition for the Jets after the Redskins. Fuck. I don't like to say that. Sorry. After the Washington team. So, I got to say, Matt Paradis would really anchor. It starts with the center. We really appreciate Eric Wood after last year. Because with that offensive line coach, Juan Castillo, if 2 Pro Bowlers could go downhill and Wood incognito, anybody can go downhill. That's why it's like, again, earlier part about Charles Clay. Yeah, the whole offense went downhill, dude. They just sucked. And the cream rises to the top. They threw Josh Allen to the wolves. They got him injured twice because the offensive line fucking sucked. Twice. That's right. A concussion. And then the fucking finger thing. Because the O-line sucked. And I'm not even saying the players. If I say the O-line sucked, I'm always going to blame coaching first. Always coaching. And by week 4, you know if it's good or not. So, Matt Paradis, start there. Okay? Get that center in there, smart football player, play with some good guys, all right? Peyton Manning. Who else you want to talk about? All right? So, he's been around some good fucking football players. And he's a good ass center. Like, if he's like the number one free agent center, there's a reason. So I will take that. Why? Because I want a guy that's going to come in, be turnkey, and the young guard that gets drafted this year or not, if they don't re-sign Miller, I think the Bills should really extend an offer to John Miller on the cheap. Okay? Move Long to left guard. And I don't even know what side Long played on. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. When he played guard. So move Long. Yeah, so your center would be Paradis. You would have Long at left guard. You would have Dawkins on the left side, left tackle. You'll put Miller on the right side, and your right tackle, your answer for you, okay, is Darrell Williams. And guess what? Guess what? We got Carolina connection. Got Carolina connection. So he was drafted from Carolina in 2015. And he was second team All-Pro in 2017. Last year he had a pretty bad injury. So played 40 games, started 29. I'm about it. All right? And there you go. You got your offensive line. If you trade for Antonio Brown, say the Bills figure it out, right? If you trade for Antonio Brown and you got that in the works, all right, you're set. You know, because God fucking damn it. Use your first round pick on something. If it's proven talent, I'm about it. The draft is all about potential. I want a sure thing. What I like about players like Lorenzo Alexander on the Bills so much, and Kyle Williams, and even Cordy Glenn at the time, Eric Wood, Incognito. But really guys like Eric Wood and Cordy Glenn are longer here than Incognito. And Zoe's gone through a lot of it, what I'll tell you. A lot of scheme change. Same with Jerry Hughes. A lot of scheme change. And, we look at football like confusing, but it's also not our day job. It's not my day job, football. If it was our day job, it'd be a lot easier. We're just reading articles. We're not looking at tape. We have lives, so we look to shit like this. If you're looking for this for X's and O's, I don't know what the hell you're doing. There's some other fine podcasts out there that might get you what you want. It's probably going to be boring, not as funny, but, it works. Because when I want my information, I just want it, So I think the Bills can make it happen for Antonio Brown. Like, I could see them making it work. It's just you got to shore up the offensive line, and frankly, don't tell me, Bills, that you want to save money and cap space this, cap space that, when you're going to really kind of screw yourself here if you don't get some good talent cheap now. Don't be shocked that the Bills take a cornerback high in the draft. I'm a fan. I thought Doug Whaley had this set up where you had Mario Williams on one end. Okay. And this is under Knicks. You have Mario Williams. Big contract. And you're never going to live up to a big contract as a free agent. It just doesn't happen. But I thought he actually did a fine job. Mario Williams, they eventually traded for Jerry Hughes and it worked out. Calvin Shepard for Jerry Hughes, third-round pick for a former first-round pick in Hughes. And Hughes kind of sounded like a Shaq Lawson, kind of like not really turning it on, not too noticeable. If you want to call him a bust, fucking. And then he comes here and he's productive. So that's why I don't want to give up on Shaq. I like him. This year he had a good year. He's a quiet. I feel like I've always labeled him like the forgotten first round pick. Guys, he's so young. I think he's like 23. He's like, it might be, yeah. He's like ridiculously young. Okay? And I think it's unfair. There's no empathy for these players when they get money, when they finally make it. You got to keep in mind these coaches, a lot of them have had it good for most of their life. It's usually a club. Okay? And frankly, it's a lot of fucking quote unquote white dudes. All right? And, you know, I kind of like don't really like when these players are judged so hard because a lot of them come from shitty fucking beginnings. Okay, and a lot of us have too listening to this. And I'm not saying, and it's hard to awaken at 20 years old that like you gotta practice. You're used to just crushing everybody in life. You don't know any better. You gotta do everything you can to be a pro. But that's what makes a Lorenzo Alexander feel Lorenzo Alexander is he listens, he takes the coaching, and he works out. And I think Sean McDermott likes him. I just think he puts some tough love on him. He's not the first one to go out there and be like, "Oh, you did great." He's almost kind of hard on him. But I think, Shaq Lawson, that's kind of the whole, we're talking about the work ethic thing, I didn't know he was lazy. All I know is when people were talking about it in passing in the media, at the pressers, it's like, oh, shit. Allegedly he was, not as sharp. But I'm been cheering on that kid forever, but Dr. David Chow actually mentioned him on his podcast, Pro Football Doc. We had him on podcast number 205. He's a doctor that put Drew Brees' shoulder back in his place. Team doctor for, I think, 17 plus years for the Chargers. And he went to over 20 combines. And I was listening to his podcast, and he actually mentioned Shaq Lawson. Like during the draft, some people are like, yeah, he's gonna need surgery. And if Bills decide not to get it, he gets hurt in practice. Boom. Has to get shoulder surgery. Or whatever it was. So actually wasn't it a mini camp or something? So next thing you know, here you are. My point is I don't know how I got down this rabbit hole of nothing. But my point is these players need to be given a chance. And if you can stagger your positions financially, I think it's smart. What I'm saying is you got Mario Williams on one side, his contract. You signed Jerry Hughes to an extension. Okay? Mario Williams is going to age out a little quicker than Jerry Hughes. You follow me? Now you're following Jerry Hughes with an affordable Shaq Lawson. High talent, low cost. Now you have Jerry Hughes, Shaq Lawson. So the thing is, when you're doing that, why won't the Bills do that with Trey White? Find another corner that's affordable. Ron Darby, second round pick. He did not fit the scheme and style of play for what Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott are doing on defense. I was against them cutting Roby Coleman. I was against them trading Darby. I love those players. And Roby Coleman is one of the top slot corners in the league. That said, maybe he struggled in zone situations or something like that doesn't match up, So I'm hoping they were right. It's just I don't like cutting players and then having to replace them because then you end up with a season like this one eventually where one side of the ball just kind of like falls out, so or you just deplete your talent, you can't recover it. So I think the smartest move is to find another corner because Trey White's contract is going to be up in like 2 years, 3 years. Okay, that's going to be quick. Next thing you know, this guy will be where Trey White is. 2-3 years into his career. Hopefully doing well. And as they say, every year you can take a corner. And do I think Levi Wallace played fine? Sure. But I'm not... I don't know. So I like how do I say this? Consistency. You know, maybe if I sit there and I watch every play again of this dude, of Levi, I'm like, you know what, he can hang. But I like the competition breeds competition thing. You know, at the same time, it's like, where do the Bills have holes? They're going to field defensively. I think you plug the defensive tackle spot. I think it's a very affordable one to plug. And if they're going to have a defensive rotation, anyways, I don't think you got to spend big money on it. And I don't even think you got to spend a first-round pick on a defensive tackle. Sorry. Not this year. Even though, because they say this year it's so deep. When they say it's a deep draft, fucking wait for one to fall to you, please. Because my favorite part about the NFL draft is this. Is people forget that, you're going to have like 5 top centers, 5 top left guards, 5 top right guards, 5 top left tackles, 5 top right tackles. Okay. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And there's 25 picks right there just on the offensive line, top 5. And then you got 32 teams. Well, you got a lot more positions to go, right? So why not just let the guy fall to you? That's kind of how I look at it. That matches your scheme. I don't know what they're doing on the offensive line. I hope the front office does. I hope they're like, yo, we need guys like this and guys like this. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be sweet. But I don't know. I don't know what the hell they're reading in there. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. So, to me, if you're deep at defensive tackle, fucking fill it. If you think you need bomb-ass cornerbacks, get that bomb-ass cornerback. Do I think a receiver is smart in the first round? Fuck no. No. But I don't know. I like, all right, should the Bills take a cornerback first round? No. Should they take a safety in the first round? No. Should they take a linebacker in the first round? No. Should they take anybody in defensive line in the first round? No. Should they take anybody in the offensive line in the first round? No. Wide receivers? Nope. Tight ends? Nope. Running back? Definitely fucking not. A quarterback? We already got one, right? So, like, I guess I don't want the Bills to take anybody in the first round. So I don't come to me asking questions. But my point is this conversation is to shoot the shit with yourself and go crazy and document it. And, I got to say, I went to bed. Or more like got ripped and fucking fell asleep in bed. Still had my tracksuit top on. And I woke up to some texts from my friend Ryan, RJ. And he's a big Steelers fan for life. Diehard. I've been hearing about Antonio Brown like every day for about like fucking 3 months. I've been hearing about this Bell situation all since last season. And it's cool. I'm into it. And, the Bills could work up a package for those 2 motherfuckers. Just ship LaShawn out if you want. I don't care. Do whatever you got to do. I probably won't like it. Because I don't know what they want to do. I don't know. I want to fall in love with some players. I could do AB. I just feel like he'd be wasted right now. That's all. They're not set up. I don't want a disgruntled player if he's going to be disgruntled. I don't know if he will be or not. But I just want to win, So there's also that. Thank you for joining along. It was definitely worth getting up out of bed at 2:30 to come fucking try to podcast here. It's now 4:37, and I was worried I would have nothing to talk about, and somehow I've talked to myself for 53 minutes and 50 seconds right here. So as always, tune in to Numb Bills Fan Podcast. Our last podcast was with Rob Antonucci. Old friend, riff lord from this band Achilles, other couple awesome bands over the years, like Building on Fire, etc., etc. And really cool dude. He's a teacher, graphic artist, and he loves Josh Allen, and I love Josh Allen too. Okay, don't forget it. I do love Josh Allen. I just don't like the Josh Allen and Antonio Brown situation are both similar to me. I just wanted Josh Allen to come here. And they have the right. Oh, dude, we got this awesome quarterbacks coach for you to work with. The offensive line looks promising. AKA Frank Reich could have been the coach and kept Aaron Cromer. But the Bills got the assistant offensive line coach from the Colts, so that's cool. I'm into it, you know. And they got a very well qualified quarterbacks coach, and I forgot his name there, but he's a Carolina guy. Coached 1 year in Appalachian State last year. But he worked with Cam Newton, and Cam Newton's a big guy. I just don't know why the Bills couldn't open up their fucking paybook and pay him more than being an Appalachian last year. And he could have had 1 more year with Josh Allen, but who am I? So, all right, go Bills. As always, listen to one with Rob. Quote unquote text message from Rob. He has enormous hands. Like, he was stoked on his hand size. And I'm stoked on his hand size too. But best of all is Josh Allen, Brandon Beane really took a risk of especially being a resident of Buffalo for 8 months. And Rob and I shot the shit. Like, Rob went to college at UB. He was in hardcore bands in Buffalo. I would go to shows in Buffalo for years. And then I stopped for a bit. Just started doing music in Rochester. And I would never say I know a Buffalo guy. So when he came out and said that Josh Allen's a Buffalo guy, you're going to love him, I'm like, bullshit. But you know what? I do love Josh Allen. And my favorite part about Josh Allen is his humility and his ability to laugh at himself. And his ability to believe in the people around him. And you need that. And I'm really stoked on Josh Allen. I really was not stoked on giving up so many picks and starting left tackle. But, I move on. Shit happens. But here I am in the fucking fuzzy weather day. Like, oh, Buddy Nixon, Che Gailey. But, like, now I'm kind of, like, going back. Like, oh, man, now I understand why Jerry Sullivan and Worrow and some radio guys and other people are, like, very critical. Because they've seen this so many times. Now I've seen, Bills fans really do have amnesia. We forget that, like, we saw E.J. Manuel with the lack of a real quarterbacks coach in town. So, everything is about the situation, I think, in football. And the thing is with football is there's so many different systems and so many different, not so many different systems, I should say, but that are being run in the NFL, I should say. Only so many. But you should be able to marry the like when you load up a player, what scheme does he fit in? It should be like a Madden Ultimate Team card. Every fucking player. What scheme? Measurables. I don't really care about speed too much. It's about route running. It's about other shit. It's about gain quickness because it's very rare to have speed and quickness at the same time. Unless you're fucking DJ Metcalf, the receiver there. So. Yeah. And that's another thing. If you get a guy like that, and the Bills draft him, if he's there at number 9, you get him really cheap, and you have a top talent. And if he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out. So, again, thank you for listening. Please check out number podcast 218 with Rob Antonucci. Love Rob. We talked all Josh Allen Love Fest. It was cool. We talked about his ups and downs, the balls of Brandon Beane to be like 8 months into the job and telling us he's a Buffalo guy. And hey, man, he was right. He's definitely right. So, as always, follow along. I'm Bills Fan on Instagram, Twitter. It's the immediate reaction stuff. And then Facebook is kind of like a hub, but not really as active on social media. I mean, I am. But come at me with something good, please, for the love of God. Something good. Deep take. All right. Okay. So stay tuned. We're going to have more podcasts coming. And hopefully this one sparked your fancy here. And coming up, I would like to go through some positions of the draft. I'm not sure if I'm going to do like one side of the ball because as always, I have all these aspirations and then time just runs out. So I would like to do a podcast about the combine. Not sure if I want to get a doctor on. Maybe I'll request Dr. David Chow. I don't know if he'd be into coming back. But if not, I think I want to see if Kyle... I like Kyle from Banged Up Bills. I got to get him back on. See if he'd like to come on. I'll probably just text him. So, Kyle, if you're listening, I'll be in touch. If not, and you hate my takes... I don't blame you if you do. All good, but like, would love to have you on. And talk Combine, because Combine is all about the medical. If you want to see what's going on, go to the game tape segment. But also you learn about the players, and it's really just a great collusion fest. So this is where you can tamper with players, and it's fun. But really the medical. And the Combines are very interesting because you get a lot of freak athletes who come out, and then they do nothing. But again, it's situation. So, all right, take care. As always, I'm your host, David Palermo, and it's been Numb Bills Fan Podcast 219. Follow along at numbbillsfan.com. And, yeah, take care. Subscribe on iTunes or wherever you find your podcast.